Welcome back, dear viewers, and as we said earlier, we shall be talking more about the Christmas season and tourism during the Christmas season, as it's a public holiday for all Egyptians and also for all the world. And it's a great opportunity to attract tourists to Egypt during this festive season. And to shed more light on this topic, we're most delighted to have with us Mr. Moataz, the Sedky, Vice President of the Tourism Committee at the American Chamber in Cairo. Good morning to you.
Good morning and Merry Christmas.
Good morning and Merry Christmas to you as well. So we're talking about the festive season and the Christmas season that everyone is celebrating right now, and which is actually a great opportunity to attract tourists during this festive season. It's a public holiday in around the world, not only in Egypt. So what do we do to attract tourists during this festive season?
Good morning and Merry Christmas to the Nile TV family and all the Egyptian Christians in Egypt and around the world. Honestly, we are witnessing a high season in Christmas time, and this high season, inshallah, will continue until next Easter, coming in March and April. To be honest, the Coptic Orthodox Church plays a vital role in religious tourism by preserving an ancient traditions, as you know, and hosting iconic events such as the Christmas Eve Mass that we all watched on TV yesterday.
Yes.
These celebrations draw not only local worshippers but also international visitors interested in deep history of Christianity in Egypt. Sites like the famous Hanging Church and the monasteries along the Holy Family journey, it offers all tourists from all over the world a unique spiritual and cultural experience.
Of course, and we have a lot of attractions actually when it comes to religion and Christian religion as well. So what attractions exactly attract tourists from outside of Egypt, the Western tourists, I mean, to come and visit these places?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because as you know, the tour operators one season ahead, they prepare their programs based on specific days of the year. For example, if we come during the Christmas, Coptic Christmas in Egypt, most people, they stay in their hotels nearby the Hanging Church, Monastery of St. Catherine, the Monastery of St. Anthony in the Eastern Desert. These locations are not only religiously significant, but also showcase Egypt's rich history and stunning architecture, because the places itself is old, unique, and it has a lot of history from the past. And people come and take photos and put on Instagram, live events. This makes those places much more famous when we watch it on TV and on social media platforms.
Yes, of course. Actually, do they visit religious places only during Christmas, or they visit other places like the most known gems in Cairo in the touristic scene?
Absolutely. People travel to many places around Egypt, but they combine religious visits as well as recreational and fun and family gatherings. As you know that Egypt is a key destination for culture and historical explorations, not only for religious. So it is always, all the time, a combination between the religious visits to the monasteries, to the Coptic museums, which is, we have a lot of scenes from history. Everybody read in the books about the Holy Family journey and the stops, and there is a lot of places that Egyptian government recently have renovated, and now they are good for visiting, as well as you can buy them, the tickets, online.
Okay, so actually, which touristic attractions do you see attract local and international visitors during this time of the year? Like talking about the Hanging Church and the route of the Holy Family and many other attractions. How do you see these are as important attractions for visitors coming from abroad and also Egyptians?
As you know that Egypt has a unique spot, which is the Sinai and the Red Sea. And Sinai and the Red Sea attract a lot of charter flights that comes from UK, from Central Europe, from North Europe, Eastern Europe, and those destinations like Marsa Alam, Hurghada, Sharm el Sheikh, when you arrive there, you find a lot of interesting places. Besides the Nile, beside the Sinai and the Red Sea, also people, when they arrive to Hurghada, they drive to Luxor, and from Luxor they take the Nile cruise to Aswan, and there is the cruise in Lake Nasser, which is Aswan Abu Simbel. There is plenty of cultural and beach holidays. As you know, foreigners come in winter time to the Red Sea to swim, because the Red Sea water temperature is very fine, not compared to other seas around the area.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, and it's always sunny. There is no, we don't have a snow, we don't have an ice, so people can come and actually enjoy the beach and the sun on Christmas time, where now you can see on TV a lot of snowstorm, a lot of airports are closing because of the snowstorm, but Egypt actually is bright and always will be bright all the time, inshallah.
Inshallah. So how actually do you evaluate the Egyptian government efforts to boost this important sector, the tourism sector, during festive times or festive seasons?
We have to go back to the Egyptian government vision 2030, which attract 30 million tourists. Actually, they are putting an effort in the restorations of old museums, and of course, as you know, that the iconic Grand Egyptian Museum, which is already
partially open, yes,
open for visitors, and we hopefully by February, with the opening of the new Giza Plateau, as you know, that the old surroundings of the Giza, the three pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx, were not in a good shape, but luckily now, with the help with the private sector, the Giza Plateau becomes a place to visit, not only for families, for people who comes on holidays. There is plenty of things that the Egyptian government have recently restored and made. Even the road facilitates to go by road. There is easy gates, electronic, you can buy your tickets by credit card, barcode. All those technologies that we see in international museums are now in
applied,
Egypt,
yes,
in the culture areas.
How do you think Coptic Christmas celebrations impact Egypt's cultural and historical heritage on the global tourism market?
As you know, that Egypt has a campaign from long time ago. This campaign consists of many items. Some of them relates to religious tourism, and especially that we have a heritage of Christianity, a history in Christianity that very
great
old,
history, yes.
And it is quite rich, that 1 day or 2 days are not enough. So if visitors come to Cairo and they spend even 2 full days, is not enough to cover all the places that relate to the history of Christianity in Egypt. And we always make a special programs through specialized tour operators from Europe, that they are specifically come to Cairo to be nearby the Hanging Church, the monasteries, and the old places. Even the streets are quite old as the churches. So it's a journey in time. So I doubt very much that many countries in the world have this old untouched heritage from so many years, especially on the religious side of the history.
Yes, talking about that, actually commenting on what you said, for international tourists visiting Egypt actually during this festive time, what makes Coptic Christmas a unique experience for them?
Coptic Christmas is mostly is different between, as you know, that Egyptian families, they gather by doing the mass at the church by night.
A mass at the church, yes.
They meet in the morning for the breakfast. And people for international visitors, they combine both outings together with the celebration with their families. So mostly Egyptian people are keen to see their families, to meet their relatives and friends, and they go for dinner and then next morning in the breakfast, but mostly they go to church by night. The foreigners, they come to watch the ceremony, and also to enjoy the Cairo by night, the streets, the cafes. As you know that Cairo by night is quite popular. There is plenty of places that they go.
Busy streets.
Very, very safe, not expensive, and it is uniquely traditional. So it's like going back in the time machine, way back so many years back, and enjoy the cafes, the smell, the local food, and the local drinks.
Of course. And how do you see Egyptians and Western tourists celebrate Christmas differently during this season?
As we mentioned, that it is already, when they celebrate the Christmas Eve, Egyptians already have their traditions planned enough time ahead. They go
in
back
the churches.
and they celebrate with their friends, and they go to the church. As you know that the new capital already, we have the new renovated church, which is, we also on TV last night. It is quite impressive architecture place, and all international media covered the presence of
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Yes, of the president, and I guess that this already made the place so famous, shedding lights on the new capital and the facilities that the Egyptian government have recently put on place.
What does this tell to the Western community about Egypt, like celebrating a great event with the presence of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and leaders actually being present and being very keen to be present on this special occasion to congratulate and to greet all Christians in Egypt?
Absolutely, I agree very much on all what you said, that the presence of the president in such occasions gives a message to the whole world that Egypt is safe. It gives a message of peace to the whole world, that there is a great bond between all the parts of Egyptian people, Christians, Muslims. They are all unite in those nights to celebrate, and the speech of the president last night was quite really touching, and I guess that it was translated to so many languages. So having a lot of problems about in the neighbor countries since last October, and we witnessed that a lot of countries, even the airports are closed. Egypt is having a lot of demand. A lot of airports come full of tourists to come to enjoy this Christmas. And I guess that the publicity of the Christmas Mass last night gave a message to the whole world that it's time to consider Egypt in your next trip. Egypt is safe, and Egypt is a land of peace and tranquility.
So you have just said that we witness an increase or a demand in tourism during this festive season. Do we see actually an increase in touristic visitors in Egypt during this festive time?
Absolutely. We have Christmas by default, Christmas and New Year by default, or the last quarter of every year is a high season, because winter season is the peak season for Egypt. And many people come to enjoy the weather because it's too cold in their countries, as well as it's not expensive to come to Egypt. So they buy the packages to Egypt long time ago. And I believe that this kind of season, we already almost exceeded the 16 million visitors by end of 2024.
Yes.
Which we aim to break the record next year, inshallah, 2025. And you can see that 2023 was witnessing already 14.9, and we believe that this progress will continue as much as the Egyptian government invests in building more hotel rooms and more resorts, which can absorb more tourists and more flights coming to Egypt.
Yes, Mr. Moataz, the Vice President of the Tourism Committee at the American Chamber in Cairo, thank you so much for giving us these valuable insights regarding a very important sector that is considered one of the most important sectors to the Egyptian economy, and during this festive time as well. And by this, dear viewers, we come to the end of our breakfast show, but do stay tuned for another edition coming to you tomorrow, Now to Be International.